Welcome back to Chevon, it's your boy Hold on, we are back and better than ever for another video, and today we're talking about the new Nintendo Direct that happened. They announced Ocarina of Time again. And it's a fascinating time, I think, to be a fan of anything in media at this point, because we've probably seen at least 30 different remakes of something that you enjoyed and cherished growing up, and that is exactly what we are getting right now here for the Nintendo Switch 2. And I do think it's a fascinating topic point that has been prompted, I guess, from the Nintendo Direct that recently happened, I think, somewhere in the month of June. Who knows when this is getting released, but also who knows when you're watching it. The power of YouTube. You never know when somebody is indeed... This could be prevalent whenever at this point. Nonetheless, I want to talk about this Nintendo Direct in particular because I do think it's fascinating, right? Because Ocarina of Time, for those who don't know, one of the biggest Legend of Zelda games of all time. It's already been remade as well. So it came out on the N64. It's been remade for the Nintendo 3DS, and I'm sure it's also been released on N64 emulators for the Nintendo Switch, and people probably have ROMs of it on their PC or on their phone. So obviously, everyone at this point has probably played The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, too. So they are remaking it. It's a reimagination, I guess is how they're going to be branding it. So I'm curious to know, obviously we don't really know too much about the game in itself. Is it a remake, like it's going to be bar for bar the same exact game? Is it a reimagination? Because that might take mildly changes, but for the most part it remains the same, where I think there's a general reaction whenever I see a remake that is announced, and it's just disappointment, because I feel there's so many creative ideas that could be taking place right now in the world of gaming, because it feels the development, the technology has advanced so much, and the idea that we are falling back on things that we have already played and likely already played at least 4 different times is incredibly frustrating, I think, as the consumer, because all you want to do when it comes to gaming is experience something new, right? Experience a new take on something fun, exciting, vibrant, something that maybe doesn't even work out, right? But at least it's something new. Like, I think that's what I am been just dying for, clawing as I claw my desk for something new that gets you excited, that is just, I don't know, groundbreaking, something that is experimental. And I don't know if that's just where we are in the state of gaming, right? But I feel like a lot of things are just like, we've seen it, we've done it, people are going to buy it, let's do it again. And I think that has been Nintendo's incredible strategy. And I do want to address the elephant in the room as well, and just acknowledge the fact that I am a sucker. I am a liar.
I was lying!
And I will probably say how terrible remakes are, how I'm disgusted with remakes, but in reality, I'm going to end up buying said remakes. That's just how it works. So this is really just me complaining about something that I will ultimately likely buy at some point in my life. So we got that out of the way. All right, disclaimer. Okay, I have no integrity. Okay, but that is kind of the interesting thing here, right? It was that is a constant complaint, I think, by a lot of people, where it's, oh my god, I can't believe they're remaking Star Wars, or they're remaking Spider-Man. Like, how many times have we seen Star Wars or Spider-Man relaunch, begin, launch, relaunch, repackage, remake, and it's kind of the same exact story. They just changed the Spider-Man, and now we are in the Tom Holland era, and I'm sure 5 years from now, we're probably going to see another, all right, we got to reboot Spider-Man again, and it's going to start with the same exact origin story, and it's just going to be repeating, because that is a proven commodity that works and that generates money. And until there is a point in period where the consumers, me and you watching this, all kind of rallied together and say, enough, we're not going to buy it, that's when things would ultimately change. Unfortunately, none of us have any integrity, and we're going to buy it either way, because it kind of hits the right cylinders in the brain of nostalgia, right? Where it's enough to say, oh, but I mean, I did like Ocarina of Time growing up, and I did play the 3DS version growing up as well. And then, I guess I haven't bought a Switch 2, so maybe this is the moment I buy Switch 2. But it's not even just that for Nintendo as well, is that they've also done the same thing for Star Fox 64. And maybe this kind of shows where my allegiance lies, where my initial reaction to Ocarina of Time was like, damn, really? We're doing this again? Like, come on, bro. Like, we've already seen it. Like, I don't really need it. This doesn't really move me to want to buy a Nintendo Switch 2 either. It doesn't really generate any interest for me to relive that story again because I've already relived it on the 3DS version. Now, if it was a first time remake 20 or 30 years later, then I think I'd be, oh my lordy lord, I'm all in. But that wasn't the case for me. But I do think the interesting internal reaction I had as well, though, is that there was another surprise. This is the nerdiest video I've ever made in my entire life. Wait with me, okay? Just hear me out. But so they had a Star Fox Direct, and I love Star Fox. You're talking about space exploration, spaceships, and animals that can talk? Sign me up yesterday, all right? I'm all locked in. Now, when I saw the announcement, I didn't really see much of the trailer. I just saw logo, and it just said Star Fox. Like, holy crap. They are relaunching Star Fox. We're getting a brand new game. There's going to be brand new missions. There's going to be brand new everything. It's going to be super stylistic and awesome and hyper realistic now. And it's 2026. The graphics are going to be crazy. I wonder if there's going to be online gameplay. Like, so my mind started racing. And then I was left with the elephant in the room, and I had to acknowledge that this was indeed another remake of Star Fox 64. Why? Please, I just wanted a new Star Fox because the one on the Wii U I couldn't buy because I couldn't find it in the freaking store, and then there's no like online eShop anymore for the Wii U, so it's an absolute nightmare. And it's just, I'm not gonna spend $1,000 for Star Fox Zero. All right, so I searched for the gameplay, and people were a little bit frustrated with the Wii U controls. Nonetheless, I would have bought it if I could have, okay? Because I like Star Fox. Now, once again, I was angry. I was disappointed. I was left disgusted with Nintendo. Now, that being said, I also highly debated the financial implications of buying a Nintendo Switch 2 plus the game immediately because I am on board. Once again, zero integrity by me, but that's kind of how I felt, and I think that's probably how a lot of super hardcore Ocarina of Time fans are probably feeling because for me, I enjoyed Ocarina of Time. Awesome. Appreciate it. Would not say it's my favorite Zelda of all time. Even if they remade the Wind Waker, I don't know if it would really do much for me again because they've also done repackagings of those games onto Nintendo Switch and onto probably Nintendo Wii U and just anything Nintendo has probably gotten a remastered version, not a remake version, which is kind of the frustrating thing as well when it comes to Nintendo is they will remake and remaster everything. And it's just, you have so many incredible IPs, right? You have Mario. Just explore the Mario universe, right? Now, obviously, Yoshi's got a new game coming out as well, but you have Mario, you have Mario Kart, you have Mario Party, you have Mario Sports Edition, enter any sport. They could have done Mario Soccer again, and people would probably, well, I think they did it recently, but you get the point. Yeah, that's just Mario alone. Then you have freaking Ice Climbers, Kid Icarus, Metroid, The Legend of Zelda, Captain Falcon, F-Zero, whatever it's called, and Luigi's Mansion. There's so many, Star Fox. Like the amount of IPs that they can get super creative with and really kind of Animal Crossing, right? Like the options are so freaking endless, and I hate that Nintendo has all the money in the world and they fall back on what's easy and they fall back on kind of the Madden strategy of things where we know you want something to play and we just gonna slightly tweak things. Like Madden, every year they're gonna say the same exact things: better graphics, presentation overhaul, brand new tackle animations, and an all new AI system that makes games more realistic. It's the same game every time, if we're being honest. Now, people are going to sell out the $60 or now $70, mind you. When did that happen, by the way? Why are games being $70? Hey, if it was $70 and it was the most realistic graphics of my life, then I'd be like, okay, I understand upping the price. But when we went from 360 to Xbox One and from Xbox One to whatever the hell they call it now, right? I guess I'll do PlayStation, PS3 to PS4 to PS5. There was not a jump in price of games. Everything was typically $60 now. I guess that's just a implication that economy's cooked over here, guys. Shout out to everyone that voted that way. Appreciate you. But I don't know. I guess that's the fascinating thing now when it comes to, I guess, modern gaming, is how the price point has changed. There's a lot more free to play games, but there's also an upgraded price point for just regular titled games. I don't know. It's weird. It's bizarre to me, and it shows you how out of the loop I've been in the world of gaming for a bit. But I guess to close here, right, is one, we're all liars, but two, when it comes to the Switch 2 in general, is I think it's in a weird place because obviously it has a different launch point than the Xbox and the PlayStations, and it's kind of in its own universe. It's not, to me, when I think of Nintendo, I don't view them competing with Xbox or PlayStation or anything like that. I think they're just operating in their own ecosystem of Nintendo, because Nintendo is always going to sell at some point, right? But I think the hard thing for Nintendo right now is obviously the price point for Switch 2, but I do think that there is a pretty big majority, not majority, but I do think there's a large sect of people that are still on Nintendo Switch 1, me included, and I know people as well, that have Nintendo Switch 1 and are almost begging for a reason to buy a Nintendo Switch 2. And for some people, maybe that was Ocarina of Time. For other people, maybe that's Star Fox. But I do think there's a large chunk of people that view the games that are being announced for Nintendo and think, that's it? That's all? Like, there's no new Super Smash Brothers. There's no 3D Mario. Like, where is the heavy hitters for Nintendo? And I think Nintendo does this often, where I think sometimes they release consoles and it's like it's not really ready to be released because there's not enough bang for your console. And I think that's kind of where I think Xbox dropped the ball. I think probably for the last generation, where whatever it's called right now, I don't actually know. But the one that's competing with PlayStation 5 is that I feel PlayStation 5 had a ton of games lined up for them, but Xbox was like in this weird place where they're like, hey, we'll just put our games everywhere for a little bit. Go play that. We got nothing exclusive, mind you, but we still want you to buy a brand new console. It's like $400, $500. So I do think gaming is in a curious place. And I think now, because obviously when you look back maybe 10 years ago, this is going to be another video as well, but I think my generation of gamers, right, are probably looking back at games they used to play, like Black Ops 3 or something, or Black Ops 2, and then they're probably internally thinking, man, it's been a decade probably since I've played those games. And I think that's probably going to be the strategy for a lot of these companies for at least a little bit right now, is relying, I think, on remakes and remastered editions of games. And I think that's unfortunate, because obviously we are all suckers and we're probably going to buy it. But two, I just think there's so many talented people and stories to be told. But ultimately, they're probably not going to be greenlit. Now, we'll see what happens. But I guess that's my frustration right now with you, Nintendo. Please make me buy the Nintendo Switch. I'm almost begging you. I want it. Make me want to actually buy it. Anyways, that was a nerd out session for about 13 minutes of your life. So hopefully you enjoyed it, and let me know what you think. Does the Ocarina of Time remake do anything for you? Are you excited about it? Does Star Fox do anything for you? Are you excited about it? And are we good on remakes across the globe when it comes to movies or TV or video games? So anyways, like, comment, subscribe to those YouTube things. We'll be back for another video at some point.